So we all kind of think we know how AI works, right? But what if I told you its fundamental operating system was getting a massive, massive upgrade? A new report from Virtualization Options LLC, a Colorado-based tech research group, says that's exactly what's happening. And believe me, it marks a huge leap forward for artificial intelligence. Okay, so let's start with what we're all familiar with, right? Think about the AI you use every day, like ChatGPT. Under the hood, they are basically the world's most sophisticated predictive text. They look at a sentence and just make a really, really good guess about what the very next word or token should be. But here's the question that changes everything. What if AI could stop just predicting the next word and start predicting the next complete thought, the next whole idea? Now that is the incredible shift we're going to unpack today. And let's be super clear here, this isn't just some minor software update. We're talking about a fundamental architectural change, a move away from what we call large language models, or LLMs, towards something totally new, something built from the ground up for actual conceptual understanding. And, this has all happened so fast. Just a couple of years ago, LLMs were the biggest thing in tech, period. But then, in 2024, Meta introduced this brand new architecture called a Large Concept Model, or LCM. The big deal? The focus is no longer on simply predicting words, but on understanding entire ideas. It's all about getting AI closer to how we actually think. So, what's the real difference here? Well, it all comes down to the most basic unit of information they work with. You could say it's the difference between seeing individual bricks versus seeing the entire building. Let's break it down. All right, so a traditional LLM chops up language into these little bits called tokens. They can be words or sometimes even just pieces of words. So a word like understanding might get split into under and standing. But the new LCM approach, it sees the entire sentence, the whole idea, as one single unit. This helps it hold on to the bigger meaning without getting lost in the weeds. And that small change has a huge impact. See, because LLMs focus on words, they are absolute masters of grammar. They can write sentences that sound flawless. But because LCMs focus on entire ideas, they're way better at logic. They make sure a long, complex argument actually makes sense from the beginning to the very end. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine generating a story. An LLM works word by word. It's like an author who only knows what the very next word should be. It sounds great, but it can easily lose the plot. An LCM, on the other hand, thinks in entire scenes. It establishes the concept of a cat enjoying the sun and then predicts the next logical event. The whole story just hangs together so much better. So that's the what. Now, let's pop the hood and take a look at the how. The internal assembly lines, the pipelines for these two types of AI, are fundamentally different. This is the classic LLM pipeline. It's really just an assembly line for words. The text comes in, gets broken down, processed one little piece at a time, and the model predicts the next piece. Then the conveyor belt moves, and it does it all over again and again and again for every single word. Now compare that to the LCM. It takes in a whole concept at once. Then it encodes that entire idea into a unique digital fingerprint, what the researchers call a sonar embedding. From there, it predicts the next concept's fingerprint, and only at the very end does it translate that idea back into words. It's just working at a much, much higher level of abstraction. And that ability to work with these abstract idea fingerprints instead of specific words, well, that's what unlocks such incredible scale. Because the idea is universal. A single model can operate seamlessly across more than 200 languages. That's the same AI with no translation needed. It's wild. At the heart of all this power are those sonar embeddings. You can think of them as creating a universal language for ideas. The concept of a sunny day has the same digital fingerprint whether you write it in English or say it out loud in Swahili. This creates something incredible called zero-shot transfer. It means if the AI learns something in one language, it instantly knows it in every other language. No retraining needed. Okay, this is all fascinating from a tech standpoint, but what does it actually mean for you and me? For the real world? Let's talk about how these big architectural differences translate into actual, tangible applications. So you can really see where each model shines. LLMs are fantastic at tasks that depend on just the next few words. Think chatbots, autocomplete, that kind of thing. But LCMs? They excel when the big picture is everything, like finding hidden risks in a 100-page legal contract, or helping a doctor connect a tiny symptom from years ago to a patient's problem today. And check this out. Here's a stunning real-world result. A global law firm used an LCM to analyze contracts and saw a massive 73% drop in manual review time, all while actually getting better at finding risks by 41%. That's the power of an AI that can read a document and understand how a clause on page 5 connects to a definition back on page 82. Now, this right here might be one of the most mind-bending capabilities. An LCM can see a picture of a cat, hear someone say the cat is enjoying the sunshine, and read the text, a tabby cat sitting in a sunny window. And it knows that all three of those things are about the exact same core concept. It's a truly unified understanding that just breaks down the barriers between different kinds of media. So where is all this headed? It's a huge question. Let's wrap things up by looking at the bigger picture and the path forward for this incredible new technology. And really, this all points to something bigger. A lot of researchers believe that by teaching AI to operate on the level of ideas, not just words, we're taking a really significant step toward the ultimate goal of artificial general intelligence, an AI that can reason, learn, and understand in a much more human-like way. So let's just boil it all down one last time. The difference is pretty stark, right? LLMs process tokens, LCMs process concepts. LLMs operate at the word level, LCMs operate at the idea level. Ultimately, one is designed for amazing linguistic fluency, while the other is built for true conceptual understanding across any language and any media. And all of this leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. Is this leap from LLMs to LCMs the difference between teaching an AI how to write versus teaching it how to actually think? The answer to that is something we're all just beginning to figure out. Thanks for digging into this with me.